We continue our reading of Lest We Forget, a daily devotional by author George R. Knight. Today's reading, April 24, Redefining the First Angel's Message, Part 4. When the king came in to look at the guests, he saw there a man who had no wedding garment. Matthew 22:11. Yesterday we saw that Enoch Jacobs, Apollos Hale, Joseph Turner, and William Miller had by late 1844 and early 1845 tied the October date and the sanctuary doctrine to the heavenly pre-Advent judgment of Daniel 7. Thus those non-Sabbatarians had begun to see such central Millerite texts as the judgment of Daniel 7 and the arrival of the bridegroom at the wedding as being the coming of Christ to the pre-Advent judgment rather than his return in the clouds of heaven. That same rationale applied to the cleansing of the sanctuary of Daniel 18:14 and the judgment hour of Revelation 14:7. But what about the Sabbatarian leadership? How did they stand on the teaching of a pre-Advent judgment in the late 1840s? Joseph Bates was quite positive on the topic, respecting the hour of God's judgment is come. He penned in 1847, "There must be order and time for God in his judicial character to decide the cases of all the righteous, that their names may be registered in the Lamb's book of life, and they be fully prepared for that eventful moment of their change from mortal to immortality." And in late 1848 he claimed that the dead saints are now being judged. Bates was probably the first of the Sabbatarian leaders to teach the pre-Advent judgment. It appears that by January 5, 1849, Ellen White agreed with him on the topic. Commenting on a vision she had received on that date, she wrote that she saw that Jesus would not leave the most holy place until every case was decided, either for salvation or destruction. Early Writings, page 36. So far, so good. Bates and Ellen White seem to be in harmony on the topic, but not James. As late as September 1850, he would openly and aggressively disagree with Bates on the topic of a pre-Advent judgment. In that month, he wrote that many minds have been confused by conflicting views that have been published on the subject of the judgment. Some, meaning Bates, have contended that the day of judgment was prior to the second advent. This view is certainly without foundation in the Word of God. A side lesson here is that even Seventh-day Adventist pioneers differed with each other on important topics, yet they still managed to respect each other. We need that same spirit in our own day. This concludes our reading today of Lest We Forget.